Warning, spoilers ahead. Sebastian Caine, an arrogant scientist, has created a serum for the military that can render a subject invisible. The team succeeds in reversing the procedure, returning an invisible gorilla to visibility. In celebration, the team goes out to a fancy dinner, where Sebastian raises a glass to the world's greatest research group. Sebastian, on the other hand, believes it is the end because reversion was the last major breakthrough. Instead of reporting his success to the military, Sebastian lies to the Oversight Committee, which includes his old teacher Dr. Howard Kramer, and convinces Linda and Matt to lie to the other 4 team members, claiming that Kramer and the board have approved human testing. Sebastian himself is the subject. Despite a difficult transition to transparency, the procedure is a success. Sebastian awakens in pain, and recoiling from the ambient light after being unconscious for approximately 17 hours due to shock, realizing that he can see through his eyelids. However, when the time comes to return to visibility after 3 days, the reversion fails and nearly kills him. The researchers make a latex mask for Sebastian to wear around the lab, roughly resembling a human appearance. During this time, Matt discovers a promising method for making Sebastian visible once more. A computer simulation, on the other hand, fails. Isolation and virtual imprisonment in the lab begin to wear on Sebastian's patience over the next few days. He sneaks out and goes to his apartment to get some books, CDs, and Twinkies to take back to the lab, defying Carter and his own rules. There, temptation wins, and he first spies on his neighbors, then rapes her while completely invisible. Linda arrives at the apartment, where she discovers the mask and clothes but no Sebastian. Sebastian returns to the lab just as the others are about to follow him. Linda warns him that if he leaves again, she and Matt will inform Dr. Kramer. Ignoring their threat, he constructs a device that plays a video loop of his heat signature in his quarters. The looping image tricks Frank into thinking Sebastian is still in the lab, when in fact, he is out spying on Linda and Matt. When Sebastian arrives at Linda's house, he sees Matt and Linda about to have sex and smashes their bedroom window. The two dial Frank's number, who informs them that Sebastian is still in bed. Meanwhile, an enraged Sebastian returns to the lab, frustrated and enraged by the prospect of Linda. Linda and Matt visit Dr. Kramer's home, and inform him of the experiment on Sebastian. Dr. Kramer is disappointed and informs them that they have been terminated from the project. Dr. Kramer then tries to contact the military to inform them about Sebastian, but Sebastian has followed Linda and Matt to the house. Sebastian dupes Kramer into leaving the house before drowning him in his own swimming pool. The next day, Sebastian waits until the entire team is in the lab before turning off the phones and all elevator codes except his own. He takes off his clothes and latex mask and goes on the hunt for them all. While the team searches for Sebastian, Janice falls behind, and he strangles her with an A4 line and stuffs her body in a locker. Linda, Sarah, and Frank hide in the lab after discovering Janet's body, while Matt and Carter use tranquilizer guns to search for Sebastian in the empty hallways using thermographic imaging goggles. Matt fires at a steam vent's heat signature. When Matt turns around, Sebastian, who is standing on top of a pipe, has yanked Carter into the air. Matt attempts to shoot him, but Sebastian throws Carter into a steel bar, severing his carotid artery and causing massive blood loss. Sebastian nearly kills Matt, but Linda saves him. Sarah and Frank discover Carter, who is barely conscious and severely injured. Despite Frank's wishes, Sarah goes off by herself to get blood for a transfusion. She splashes the blood all over the room, expecting Sebastian to walk on it and reveal his location. Sebastian, on the other hand, tackles her and shoots her with her tranquilizer dart, breaking her neck. Linda and Matt discover Frank tending to a dying Carter. Carter bleeds to death, and the three set out to find Sarah. She is discovered dead in the walk-in freezer. Frank sprays a fire extinguisher to expose Sebastian, but Sebastian comes from behind and impales Frank with a crowbar. He then stabs Matt in the lower chest with the hook end of the hook. Sebastian locks Linda and Matt in the freezer, turns the temperature control all the way down, and leaves them to freeze to death. Sebastian dons his latex mask and clothing, taking his time to ensure he looks human. Meanwhile, Linda uses duct tape to bandage Matt's wound, and then devises a way to get out of the freezer. Linda creates an electromagnet out of a defibrillator and other lab equipment, which she then uses to open the door. She starts a fire to keep Matt warm and gathers the components for a flamethrower. Sebastian has been manufacturing nitroglycerin in the lab in order to destroy the facility and cover up the team's murders. He spins the nitro in a centrifuge, sets a timer, and destroys the keyboard, making it impossible to stop. Linda appears and fires her crude blowtorch at him as he enters the elevator to leave. Sebastian barely escapes the flames as his latex mask and clothes burn away. Linda activates the ceiling sprinklers with the flamethrower, partially revealing him. When she is about to lose, Matt appears and hits Sebastian with the crowbar. Sebastian regains consciousness and seizes the crowbar, but while wet, he swings it and strikes a fuse box, electrocuting himself. As the electricity passes through his body, Sebastian's muscles, bones, and organs become visible, but his skin, and what's left of his hair remain invisible. Linda and Matt discover that the nitro is about to explode and decide to leave the lab by climbing up the elevator shaft. The lab explodes, engulfing the shaft in flames. Sebastian appears as the two are about to leave. He fights Linda and kisses her one last time, for old time's sake, before she murders him by grabbing the elevator cable and knocking the car loose, sending Sebastian plummeting into the inferno below. Linda and Matt eventually emerge from the burning laboratory, and medics transport them in an ambulance.